I'm Tia Borden with MiningIR, and beside me is Nick with Core Assets Corp. Nick, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Are you enjoying the conference so far?
Yeah, I mean, it was the first day now, and like I said earlier offline, that we were at the Metals Forum before this, and gave a presentation, and we got a bit of excitement certainly for the company, and people are looking for new discoveries these days, and that's what Core Assets has stumbled upon.
Yeah, tell us a bit about the company.
So the company listed on the CSE back in 2019, and again, it's a discovery story, so it's highly speculative, of course, but what separates us from a lot of the other companies is we have a lot of massive metal at surface. And some of the occurrences go on for actually more than a kilometer. And it's what's called a carbonate replacement deposit, so CRD is the acronym for it. And these are some of the largest polymetallic deposits in the world, and they can be up to 150 million tons. So this year, put it as simple as we can, we're doing 5,000 meters altogether. And our whole thesis is that we have limestone bedding, and you need to have limestone bedding to produce a CRD. So in order to track your system back to an intrusion, which would be a porphyry style intrusion, we're going to need to drill it, and hopefully we'll tap into what we're seeing at surface in the subsurface. But it's a prospector approach at this point, very early stage. It's pretty simple. And we're just hoping for the best, as any company does at this stage, and we're just trying to gather as much information as we can, as early as we can, and as cheaply as we can.
And what is the jurisdiction like?
So the jurisdiction, we're in the Atlin Mining District, which has a long history of mining, and is a part of the Klondike gold rush, actually. A lot of people stopped in Atlin, BC before they went to the Yukon, and there's a lot of placer mining in the area, and that dates back to the late 1800s. And when I started looking at this area, I was looking at receding glaciers, which is a common story in BC and a part of global warming. And I just noticed that there wasn't any work or any mineral files that were available online in this area. So the question was why. So it was just as easy as going up there, catching a flight from Vancouver to Whitehorse, drive to Atlin. It's a 12-minute helicopter ride into where we went, and we pitched down on something that looked very gaseous. And gaseous is a term we use for like a rusty area, and then we popped down on it, and we found some significant sulfide that grades very high. And it goes for 6.6 kilometers by 1.8 kilometers, so it's quite substantial. And our land package is massive. We got about 1,100 square kilometers. So it's just a very it's a very exciting and appealing story, and we're just we're learning as we go here as well. I mean, we've got one of the youngest teams.
I see that, yes.
In the CSE, so yeah,
young teams you're surrounded by.
Yeah, we're just ready to roll, right?
That's exciting. Now, can you tell us a little bit about your financing?
Yeah, so the last time we did a financing, it was with a U.S. group called Crescat Capital. We did about 1.5, a little more than 1.5 million with them. And the cool thing and the key thing about that investment was we were fortunate enough to be able to do a 1.5-year lockup on that. So we're trying to, we have 74 million shares outstanding, but there's only 40 million that are actually free trading. So we're trying to keep the structure as tight as possible. And Crescat's also been very helpful on the advisory side, and kind of, you can ask questions and they'll, to help you out as you go. And they've also given us, a lot more new investors calling in from the U.S. and whatnot, and just trying to get more distribution at this point. Yeah. So we got 3.6 million in the bank right now, and we're budgeting for 5,000 meters for 2.4 million. And we're hoping we can tap into what we can see at surface.
And what catalysts can investors expect over the next few months?
Well, like I said, we are drilling as we speak. So there will be, obviously our visual interpretations of what we're drilling, and then there will be assays. It'll be a little bit longer for assays, but that's basically, that's what everyone's looking forward to, is the drilling. And then we're going to be doing some more regional work as well, and maybe we'll come upon a few more occurrences because we basically barely scratched the surface on this thing, and nobody's ever walked this land before on the rocks, because there's been big time glacial receding since the early 1900s. So So you never know what's going to pop up, but the main catalyst right now would be the drilling for sure.
And what separates you from other mining companies?
So I get that question obviously a lot, and the one main thing is actually a geological thing that separates us. And in BC in particular, there's one area called the Golden Triangle. There's a lot of prolific areas, a lot of large mines and exploration projects in that area that produce a lot of tons of material over the years. And the one thing that separates us is that we have a very large limestone bed, and as I mentioned before, you need to have a very porous and very favorable unit in order to produce a carbonate replacement type deposit. So a lot of the deposits have limestone, but it's just not porous and permeable enough to produce this kind of metal because we're replacing limestone. And even if you went up there, you would see just a white rock, and then you get a black rock inside it. So there's something different. Then the black rock is your sulfide, your metals, zinc, lead, and silver, and then your limestone is your calcium-rich unit. So if you don't have a unit you can replace, you can't produce a CRD. So that's what makes it unique in BC.
And Nick, before I let you go, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our investors, or perhaps tell them why should they invest in you?
Well, again, right now we are drilling, and that's the most exciting part of the discovery story. It's not often that anyone comes upon something that has not been found before at surface. And the question is now, we know we have something again, which separates us from other people. You can actually touch the metal. And now the question is, how much is there, and is the grade going to be sufficient? So, a very easy story to tell, and I've been a part of it from the very beginning, and it's just, it's definitely the best project I've ever been a part of. So,
and lots to look forward to for the rest of 2022. If investors want more information on you, where can they go?
Well, obviously, the website, the www.coreassetscorp.com, and then, my contact information's there, and I'm always available to talk. And
Amazing. Yeah. Nick, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Good.